This week on the Retirement Quick Tips podcast, I'm sharing with you my thoughts and ideas about how to get over your guilt about spending money in retirement. I'm Catholic, so I know all about guilt. I feel guilt every waking moment of the day. I actually felt guilty the other day. I had a dream that I slapped my 7-year-old son on the back, and it was so vivid that I thought it actually happened. And the next morning, I felt terrible about it. And I asked my son, I was like, I didn't slap you last night, did I? Because it was like he was in his bathroom. He was doing something that made me upset, and I just slapped him on the back, and it left a mark. And he's like, looks at me quizzically, like, what? And I'm like, you're sure I didn't slap you, right? And he's like, no. And I'm like, good, because it felt real. So I felt guilty. I still kind of feel guilty. That was a couple of days ago. I'm like, I still feel guilty about the dream I had for something that didn't happen. Okay, so I understand the guilt, but one of the things that you can do to combat your guilt is to put your withdrawals on autopilot from your investments. Then it becomes just like a paycheck. So this is very easy to do. You decide which account or accounts you're going to pull money from, and you can set it up so that on the same day, every month, the same amount leaves your investment accounts and is automatically deposited to your bank account. Very easy to set up. It's sort of like a one and done thing. If you decide you want to change the amount or adjust it or change the date that the money comes out or do twice a month instead of once a month or once every other month, like you can set the pattern of withdrawals and the timing of all that to work for you. It's very, very easy to do. I recommend doing it this way if you have, especially if you have some guilt, but mostly just for cash flow too. Like you want to have a paycheck coming in, like you had a paycheck coming in while you're working, and this creates a new retirement paycheck coming in when you're retired. And I find that the people who spend the least from their investments are usually, not always, but usually the clients who just take money as needed. They don't take a regular withdrawal. They call up periodically and say, Ashley, I need $10,000 for this. And then maybe in 6 months, they'll call me again and ask for another chunk of money. And when you look over the course of a calendar year, most of the time, they're underspending, at least relative to their assets. Like they could have taken more. And so I find that if you just put your withdrawals on autopilot, it helps you get used to seeing the money leave your investment accounts, land in your bank account, so that then you can turn around and spend it and use it for all the expenses you have, groceries, eating out, doing a little bit of travel. If you are really worried about spending money and you're reluctant to do the autopilot withdrawals, you could start off with a very low percentage withdrawal from your portfolio. You know, maybe you only take like 1 or 2 or 3% out in a given year from your portfolio, but you set that up on autopilot. And as long as you're well diversified, you know, that's a very safe withdrawal rate, anywhere from 1 to 3%, very low. That's actually going to leave room for additional withdrawals for one-time expenses that you might have. So like if you pay your property taxes once a year, or maybe you're going to take a trip, or maybe you want to install some solar roof panels, like whatever that is, a low withdrawal rate every month leaves room for additional one-time withdrawals as needed. And I find that that balance works the best. If you start off with those autopilot withdrawals in like the 4 or 5% range, now you're maxing out what you're taking out every month. And also, we don't want to have that money sit idle. So if you take, let's say 4% out, which is kind of the general rule of thumb of what's sustainable over a long period of time. If you take 4% out of your investment portfolio and that goes to your bank, but then the withdrawal rate on a monthly basis is too high and the money is just sitting in cash, it's earning like 12 cents of interest a year. Yay, because the bank is paying you nothing, even though interest rates are high. You want to balance that so that you are not sitting on a ton of cash that's just depositing to your bank account. You're not spending it. It's accumulating and growing and sitting there and earning zero interest. So you want to balance keeping the money invested in your portfolio for longer Even if it's conservatively invested, you can still earn 4% or more on a money market or a CD right now. And I'd rather see that happen than going in your bank account and finding out that you have $50,000 sitting there earning, again, 12 cents of interest a year. So it is a balance, but I like that sweet spot of taking autopilot withdrawals that you're not thinking about it. You don't have to make that decision every time to take a withdrawal and agonize over the guilt of spending money. It's just happening every month or every quarter or whenever that cadence is, but it removes the guilt in a big way as long as you're not taking out too much or too little. We want to have the Goldilocks scenario where it's just right. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ashley Michike, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips Podcast.